Good afternoon, YouTube. This is HeKnowsHisSport bringing you that heat and that fire. I'd like to tell you folks, I know it's been a long time since I last made my video. I was kind of waiting on the LeOverrated decision part 2. Kind of waiting on the NBA Finals to, transpire. Had since came and gone. Just wanted to be able to tell you guys that all of the stuff that I was seeing, it was crazy. Number one, LeBron James. Like I told everyone, and like I've been telling everyone, if you paid attention to my videos, you would understand He Knows His Sport always knows what He Knows His Sport is talking about. The boy is like science. He breaks that thing down to you, and it's like, you just need to go ahead and sign it through. But I told you guys, LeBron James is a guy that you cannot compare to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. The reason why I told you guys that is because he is LeOverrated. And the thing that you guys need to understand is that, like a Gerald Wallace said, I don't know if people have been paying attention to what the man said, but lest you forget, lest I'm going to have to remind your ass. This man said that LeBron James lacks the heart that Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan has. That he lacks the ability to take over a game like those boys. Ooh, it's so good to hear that stuff. Yeah, people probably going to be like, oh, Gerald Wallace. Ooh, it's Gerald Wallace. That boy need to go ahead and sit his butt down. No, here's the reality of things. What you got to understand is LeBron James is not even respected completely by his NBA peers. Because universally, when you're the #1 player in basketball, it's done deal. It's pretty much set in stone. It is a situation where no one argues that, no one critiques it, no one has anything negative to say against it. The majority agrees. The majority doesn't agree. You know who the majority is that agrees? The guys that are in his draft class. I told everybody, the 03-04 draft class is everything wrong with the NBA. Now, you know what LeBron James did, see? You guys didn't understand the okie doke. See, everybody's celebrating the fact, oh, LeBron James went back to Cleveland. Oh, he went back to hometown. LeBron James is what you call a business pimp. I will repeat it again. LeBron James is a business pimp. I give him all the credit in the world. And this is the only time you're going to really see me compliment LeBron James on anything. The man is business savvy. When it comes to his business, got to give him all the credit. Hats off to him. The boy got business like nobody's business. Like Jay-Z say, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. That is LeBron James. He's a businessman. So I give him credit. He knows how to have his stuff together. His team knows how to really have, everyone throughout the free agency process, stop what they're doing, hold their breaths for a second, and wait for this man to execute his decision. So from that standpoint, as a businessman, he gets all of the credit in the world, because we haven't seen a businessman this savvy in the game of basketball since Michael Jordan and since Magic Johnson. So this guy gets all the credit in the world. And dare I say, he's doing some unique things that even those guys haven't done. So from a business standpoint, I have nothing but respect for him. Now, when you're talking about the overall thing in terms of the way that this guy plays the game of basketball, he is LeOverrated. He is LeFraud. He is LeNot. And as last time I checked, all these bandwagon Heat fans that I've constantly criticized, where are you guys at now? Now I have to take a moment to go. I'm sorry I had to clown you guys. You guys, man. I told you LeBron was going to do this thing, man. I know that dude better than anybody because I dissect that dude, man. I told everybody, as He Knows His Sport's been breaking this thing down, this dude, see, what people fail to realize, back in 2010 when that parade took place, LeBron James said this is a business decision. I've said this before. I've been quoted many times before in other videos saying this. LeBron James said that this was a business decision. That means he didn't come down here to make friends with Dwayne Wade. He didn't come down here to make friends with Chris Bosh. LeBron James knew clearly what he wanted to do. What he wanted to do was He came down here, used pimp Dwayne Wade, used pimp Chris Bosh so that his agenda could be served. All of that, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. I wouldn't have said it if it wasn't the case. Shut that yam crap up. That man was not trying to get 7 rings. You have to understand, LeBron James does not have high expectations for himself. Yes, I said it, and yes, I will dare say it again. LeBron James does not have high expectations for himself. This move that he executed to the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's funny that, you know, He Knows His Sport wasn't on YouTube 4 years ago. But these were things that I said to my siblings, that LeBron James was going to leave the Miami. He was going to pimp them. And then once his 4 years came up, he was going to leave and go back home. I've said this. So I'm not surprised. Now that he's going back home to Cleveland, here's the okie doke that most of you people fell for. And see, that's why you need somebody like He Knows His Sport to enlighten you and to bring open light to you so that you can understand the truth of the matter of things. LeBron James going back to Cleveland basically allowed him to dumb down his standards. See, LeBron is smart in that regard. He knew that his championship expectations would never come to Michael Jordan. I mean, come on. The man is supposedly the best player in basketball, but yet he's 40% in the finals. He went to 5 NBA finals and only won 2. And this is the guy that they try to compare to Michael Jordan. Come on, you can't even compare him to Kobe Bryant. By the time Kobe was at his 5th attempt, he had 3 rings, not 2, 3. So I don't even understand what the comparisons are to Michael Jordan when you basically superseded or you went ahead of Kobe Bryant. This man needs to be compared to the guy that's right now in the era with him. And there's another guy I have to throw in there, because right now, see me, I'm anybody, if you want to prove me wrong on anything when it comes to basketball, there's only one thing that you can prove me wrong on. It's when it comes to hardware. That is the only way you could come at me, because I'm a person that goes by hardware. Most people that go by the game of basketball, they're, oh, championships don't mean nothing. Yeah, it don't mean nothing when you're a role player. Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing when you're somebody like Robert Horry. Yeah, you can argue that. I mean, not taking away what he's done, not taking away his championships, but the reality is he was never the guy, so to speak, in the championships that he got. So there is asterisks there in the 7 rings that he got, because he got in a supporting role. But when you're talking about the guy that was the guy, or you were proverbially the 1A to the 1 on the team, you get all of the credit. Or you get most of the credit for winning the championships. That's how it works. That's the order of things. People want to sit here and say basketball is a team sport. Yada, yada, yada. We understand that basketball is a team sport. I don't need no novice telling me that crap. I already know that. But what novices don't understand is that, yes, it's a team sport, but the superstar gets all of the credit. That's just how it works. That's the game of basketball. Whether you play it in the playground, whether you play it in an organized setting, that's just the reality of things. The superstar of the team is going to get the credit. You know why? Because the superstar is the one who has the best game. The superstar is the one who is the man amongst boys. The superstar is the one, or should I say the woman amongst girls. The superstar is the one who stands out, who has a game that is superior. And it's clear that that game is superior to everyone else. And the superstar is the one who either does the most, whether it be either through scoring, facilitating, defense. They're usually the leader or the anchor of that team. That's just how it works. So, LeBron James, what he did, and this is the thing that people don't understand, he's dumbed down his standards. And see, I don't fall for okie dokes. I see what he did. That's why in that letter, he tells you what he did. He's not even expecting multiple championships. Please. That's smokescreen. The man told you straight up. He doesn't even know if they're going to win within the first few years. He went back to Cleveland so that he could escape the criticism. Because there's the things, the criticisms. This is the thing that you got to understand. If he would have stayed in Miami, the bar would have been set higher and higher every year. And LeBron James, being that he is the businessman, he is the type of dude that staying in Miami, his ceiling was already at its highest point. You weren't going to get no higher than what you did. Yeah, you might get a little higher if you win another ring, but all of the jerseys that were needed to be bought from a Miami perspective in terms of LeBron James, they were bought. Most people walk around, these plum fans walk around with number 6 Miami Heat jerseys that have LeBron James' name on it. But LeBron, being the business savvy person that he was, he saw an opportunity. See, it's not about basketball with this guy. It's not about him eclipsing Michael Jordan. It never was about that, because LeBron James knows all too well that his mental is not there to do that and his heart is not there to do that. LeBron James knows those things. The thing is, it took the masses, it took the world long enough to figure that crap out. Didn't take me, because I've been saying this since 2003, 2004. Go watch my previous videos. He Knows His Sport's been breaking this thing down like science. I told you guys, this guy's LeOverrated. And see, the thing with LeBron is he's a dirty business pimp, man. He will go to your situation, use you for what you can give him, and then he's on to the next one, man. This is how this guy operates. And this is what people didn't understand. This is what I was trying to tell everyone. The real LeBron James is finally being revealed to the world. The real LeBron James is selfish at heart. Look what he just did to Cleveland right now. He signed a deal with Cleveland. He could have said, you know what, let me sign a long term. No. Business savvy, give him credit for that. Sign a 2-year deal with a 1-year opt-out. You know why? Because if he doesn't like how things are going, if he doesn't like, if Dan Gilbert does not get on his knees and apologize to this man, because that's really what LeBron James wants. LeBron always likes to be in situations where he's controlling it, because ever since he's been touted, since he was what, 15, 16, 17 years old, this man has been, everyone that's been around him has been literally kissing his butt. One of the reasons why he left the Miami Heat is because Pat Riley don't play that crap. Pat Riley's not kissing nobody's butt. And, you know, his friends, the Maverick Carters of the world, the Randy Mills of the world, the Rich Pauls of the world, those guys were not getting the luxuries they got back in Cleveland. That's why they wanted LeBron James to go back to Cleveland, because in Cleveland, LeBron, it was like his city. LeBron got to do whatever the hell he wanted to do in Cleveland. That's just the truth of the fact of the matter of things. LeBron James was able to, you know, govern and move around and do all the things that he felt was necessitated for him to do. You know, that is the reality. But people don't want to get that. People don't want to understand that. People don't want to let that digest in their cerebellum. You know, but so he left. And then obviously the press conference that Pat Riley had, you know, I liked it. I like the boldness. I like him, you know, challenging LeBron James to, you know, if you have guts, you know, be willing to stay. Don't try to find the first door to run out. But you don't talk like that to a guy that's a loser like LeBron. This guy does not like to be in precarious situations. I've been telling people this. LeBron does not like situations where he is in a pressurized situation. The man hates pressure. The man always tries to run away from it. LeBron likes to be in situations where he's getting all of the props, he's getting all of the praise. He doesn't want to be in no situation where he's getting all the criticism or he's being challenged. You don't do LeBron like that. That's his mentality. You know, and that's why I was trying to tell everybody this guy's a little overrated dude, because true greatness on the basketball court, and I'm not talking about business standpoint because I gave him his credit for that. True greatness from a basketball aspect does not do things like that. They want to be challenged. They want to take their game to the next level. They want to win as many titles as possible so that they could separate themselves from their peers and separate themselves from their predecessors. That's how it's always been, and that's how it surely should be. But the reality of things, it is not like that. And that's what people need to get in their thick heads. This is why He Knows His Sport has been trying to break this thing down to you guys, but you guys will not listen. Now who's looking right? Now who's looking like they got all the wisdom in the world? It's He Knows His Sport. Because I told you guys this stuff. Unless you would have listened, less I wouldn't have to remind you. I mean, it's just that simple. You know, it's just funny, you know. Shout outs to Alfred Daniels. I know he's a Heat fan. You know, I don't normally shout people out, but I have to shout you out. I want to know how you feel about LeBron going to the Cavs, you know. I want to know what are your reactions, what are your feelings about that? Because I constantly, in videos that I've done, I've constantly had, you know, long dialogues or discussions with you about this guy, about this fraud, about this LeOverrated, you know, about how this man was going to scheme. I told everybody, man, this NBA is corrupt. People don't understand that. LeBron James set himself up, and hence by him going to Cleveland, if anybody's happy, to be honest with you, it's me. You know why? Because there's going to be parity in this league. So what if he gets Kevin Love? He couldn't beat the San Antonio Spurs, and he had Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade. What makes you think he would beat a San Antonio Spurs type, a Oklahoma City type, with just him, Andrew Wiggins, Kyrie Irving, Dion Waiters, Tristan Thompson, Anthony Bennett? I mean, come on. Are you serious? And I'm a big Andrew Wiggins fan, but the guy has at least 3 to 5 years before his game gets to that level. And we don't even know what that level is going to be. Anthony Bennett, you know, I've been one of his very few advocates. I like his game. He reminds me of a guy who could end up becoming a Zach Randolph if he is groomed right. I just thought that Mike Brown was not the right coach for them to have that time, and that's why Cleveland struggled the way they did, because Mike Brown is a defensive coach. He's not an all-around coach. If he ever comes back and coach in the NBA, he should be an assistant coach, an assistant defensive coach. That is what he is. That is what his limit is, and he should be nothing more higher. And all of the disrespect that he keeps getting, because I've said this in past videos, he needs to seriously consider ever taking a head coaching job in the NBA, because he's going to be 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and then next thing you know, he's going to be 2 feet out. So, you know, I think he stunt this boy Anthony Bennett's growth, and you know, now that he's not there, David Blatt is more of an offensive guru. That's going to help somebody like Anthony Bennett out. It's going to help his evolution. It's going to help his growth, and I think he's going to end up becoming an offensive player. Now, here's the second and the last compliment that I give LeBron James, because he's not getting no more from me. LeBron James is a great facilitator. You know, although in past videos I've said that his facilitation has been deceptive, because he'll normally only pass the ball to 1 or maybe 2 favorite targets, on this team, he's going to be divvying up the ball. Hence, I think he's changing his number to 32. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what that means. That means he's basically going to try to be the Magic Johnson of the team. I have no problems with that. All I want, you know, from LeOverrated, LeBum, LeFraud, LeGone, LeLoser, is for him to ensure that Andrew Wiggins grows and grooms the right way. Because LeBron James has so much egotistical issues that he may stunt this kid's growth, and I don't want to see that happening, because Andrew Wiggins can become something special, and I wouldn't want this guy to mess up that growth. And Kyrie Irving, it's going to be interesting to see how, you know, those guys are going to pan out together, because let's be honest, Kyrie Irving is a guy who has to have the ball in his hands for him to score and for him to do things. So I don't know how that union is going to work out. I don't know how these guys are going to be able to have parity amongst themselves. To me, it's kind of crazy, if you ask me. And then, you know, guys like Dion Waiters likes to take a lot of shots. LeBron James basically went from a good situation, a really good situation with the Miami Heat, where he pretty much was title contention every year, because the East is so freaking weak. You know, and these guys, I can't stand what they did by them joining together, the three of them. Glad they're not together anymore, because they were holding the NBA hostage for 4 straight years, and that crap was nonsense, because these guys were sitting here, you know, killing competition because they were teaming up. I hate things like that. I detest it. Yes, I said it. I hate it and I detest it, because it takes away pure competition from the game of basketball. And if you are a true basketball purist, if you are a true basketball enthusiast, if you are a true person who is a statistician, someone who understands all the nuances that comes with the game of basketball, you don't want to see crap like that. Now, the way the NBA is now, I don't mind it. The way the NBA is now, I love it. The way the NBA is now, I think a whole lot of people are in agreement with it, because it's wide open. You don't know who's going to win. Yes, San Antonio Spurs won the finals last year, but you got a couple of guys who had surgery. You know, Patty Mills had surgery. So you don't know what he's going to be. Ginobili had surgery. You don't know what he's going to come back and be. So they had a couple of guys who had surgery. Yes, I still have them as my favorite, but they're getting older, and eventually, what people don't understand is San Antonio, the stuff that happened to them, that was a phenomenon, man. That was an aberration. If you do your research like me, and you're a true historical buff like I am in the game of basketball, you understand. San Antonio don't go to no finals back-to-back. That was an aberration. San Antonio's a team, once they win the finals, in the next few years, you'll be lucky if they make it into the finals. That's just how they were. That's how they operate. They would win one every other year or one every few years. That's just how they operate. And that's the thing that you got to understand. That's why I don't got them going. Now, I'm still going to represent my OKC. This thing is wide open. And now Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, they don't need no Paul Gasol, man. They can make it to the finals easy now because you don't have to worry about going up against a Miami Heat with a LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. That was a mismatch for anybody. And it's not because of LeOverrated, because I keep telling everybody that guy's game is so overrated. It was because of, you know, Dwayne Wade being the most impactful player on the basketball court and Chris Bosh being the most important player on the basketball court. And then the other pieces you had in you know, via Ray Allen or i.e. Mike Miller, you know, when you have guys like that, it's dangerous because you can stretch the floor. You can give it to a closer like Wade. And I'm talking about when Wade, not this Wade we saw this year in the finals when he was all broke body Wade, but when Wade was, you know, at either the middle of the heights of his power or at the full heights of his power. When this man is flash, you know, that's a closer right there. And then you got Chris Bosh who can do anything. He's like a utility man. Chris Bosh will get rebounds for you and have enough high basketball IQ to kick it out to a Ray Allen, to shoot a shot, to save the LeOverrated's legacy. You know, a guy who's 2 out of 5 in the finals. And if Chris Bosh didn't do what he did and Ray Allen didn't do what he did, this man will be 1 out of 5 in the finals. Yes, I'm going to say it again. If Chris Bosh or Ray Allen didn't do what they did, this man will be 1 out of 5 in the finals. That's why I don't understand why people so overrate this guy. But it's beside me. All I know is this. I'm happy with the result of the NBA Finals. You know, HeKnowsHisSport did say it. Got to go back to the previous videos that every about close to 10 years, you're going to get a situation where, you know, there's going to be parity in the NBA. And I like San Antonio winning because it's everything right with the game of basketball. It just tells you that teamwork wins. It tells you that, you know, when guys draft and they do things the traditional way, they can still be successful. So I was all about San Antonio winning because they represented everything right with the game of basketball. They represented the tradition of drafting players as opposed to being bought and buying a super team and holding the NBA hostage because you want to kill competition in the Eastern Conference. And that's what those guys did. That's why the Eastern Conference sucks so bad. Thank that to the Miami Heat. And that's why Pat Riley's not being looked out, and that's why he's not going to ever be hooked up. And then, you know, what San Antonio's been able to do would have their superstars know that when you get to a certain age, you got to be willing to sacrifice. Kobe Bryant's my guy, but, you know, I have to hit him up on that. Yes, he deserved the money he got, but ultimately it kind of affected him down the road. So, you know, it is what it is. This is why Tim Duncan's been able to see the finals the last 2 years, because of the sacrifices he made. It was able to keep the team, you know, deep enough for them to be able to get as far as they can get. So, you know, I never really gave San Antonio their full credit, but I was really happy with the fact that they beat the Miami Heat. Not only beat them, they stomped the Miami Heat. I was very thrilled. Though the game 3, no, the game 2 and the game, no, yeah. Was it? Yeah, the game 2 and the game 3 when they went up 2-1 and 3, when they went up 2-1 and 3-1. Those games right there, man, when they destroyed Miami in Miami in game 3 and game 4, oh, I was so happy. I was so happy. And it wasn't just a stomp. They blew them out, man. They basically told that team, you know what? We don't care that you got LeBron James on your team. We don't care that you got Dwayne Wade on your team. We don't care that you got Chris Bosh on your team. We're going to put you in your place. And that's what game of basketball is all about. I told everyone, if you want to beat the Miami Heat, you have to play with a high level of a sense of urgency. You have to play with great defensive instincts. You got to rebound the damn ball, and you got to hit your free throws. This is what San Antonio did in nearly all of the games. The only game that cost them that they didn't do it was in freaking game 2. Had they would have done that in game 2 and not let the game get out of hand and get so close, you're talking about a sweep. And this is LeBron James in his prime. This is what's so hysterical. This is why I keep telling everybody this guy's so overrated. Because when Jordan and Kobe were in their prime, they weren't losing like this, man. When Kobe lost to Detroit, that dude was not in his prime yet. When Kobe was in his prime, man, ooh, MJ was in his prime. Ooh, ooh. You know, I had to holler just a little higher for MJ. But when them boys were in their prime, boy, look at here. But LeBron James, look at him in his prime right now. So I keep telling everybody, man, this guy, man, and only solely in terms of his basketball IQ, his basketball instincts, and everything that has to do with his game, the game of his basketball, it's nonsense, man. It's rubbish, dog. This dude, LeBron James, man. So I keep telling everybody, man, when it comes to the game of basketball, is everything wrong with it. Business-wise, he's really good at what he does, and nobody can take that away from him. But I'm talking pure basketball here. I'm not here talking about business. Last time I checked, I'm not a businessman. I'm a basketball analyst and the most supreme at dissecting the game of basketball. And that's all I know. So from a basketball standpoint, this guy is everything wrong with it. And I will say it again. He is everything wrong with the game of basketball. He has ruined this generation. When you listen to these young generation plum fans, I mean, my goodness, the stuff that comes out of their mouths, it's utterly disgusting, man. It just utterly detests you, man. Because if you know the true game of basketball, you're like, what? Are you kidding me? And it's all because of this 03-04 draft class. I mean, look at what just happened in free agency right now. Him and Melo sitting there trying to talk to each other about possibly teaming up, and this is something that they've had going on for some years now. And he told Melo, you know what, you shouldn't have took that 5-year deal with the Nuggets. You should have opened yourself up, because the original big three was supposed to be LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and Dwayne Wade, and not Chris Bosh. I mean, come on, man. This class, everything wrong with the game of basketball. It's not just LeBron James. It's all this class. And to be honest with you, I don't feel bad for Dwayne Wade. LeBron James, I keep telling everybody, that dude is a business pimp. And that's what he did. He told Wade and Bosh, this is a business decision. They didn't get it. Now they get it. Yeah, granted, Bosh is loving what LeBron James did, because in all essence, LeBron leaving hooked Bosh up, because let's just be honest, Bosh is not even worth that. I heard Stephen A. Smith on First Take say, oh, Bosh is worth $488. He's not even worth that. You mean to tell me Bosh is worth $22 million? Bosh to me is the most important player. But he's the most important player when he's the third wheel. Him as the first option, I almost cursed. I almost. 4-year, $88 million, that's $22 million a year. 5-year, $118, that's $23,600,000. Are you freaking kidding me? This dude is not worth that money. He was heavily overpaid. Talk about desperation. Utterly disappointed in Pat Riley. I mean, come on. You supposed to be a basketball genius, and you sitting there overpaying this guy by $30 million of the work that and these are the people that keep saying, oh, we need to do a CBA on the players, and the GMs and the owners are the ones making the decision. Last time I checked, the GM and the owners need to save themselves from themselves, not save themselves from the players. It's not the players' fault that these guys are overpaying these players. I mean, come on. $30 million more? Bosh is not even worth, in my eyes, he's not even worth $14 million, let alone you pay him $22, $23? Are you kidding me? Come on. Now, I know this would be an oxymoron. It would be a catch-22, right? People will say, what are you talking about? You the one that always say Bosh is the most important player. You the one that's always talking highly of Bosh. Yes, I'm talking highly of him in the sense of when he's a third option, but not no damn number one option. That don't make no sense. We saw what he did when he was in Toronto as a number one option. He's not no impact player. He's not no top player. I get so hard on a guy like LeBron James, but LeBron James has more impact in terms of overall what he brings to the table in his game. Not down the stretches, not fourth quarter situations, but in situations in terms of the way he facilitates and the way he gets everyone involved. Those type of things have more of an impact in terms of the whole overall game, as opposed to key situations that LeBron is always non-existent to. But, you know, you can understand a guy like LeBron James because of the money. Not only is he bringing in, not only with the style of play that he's playing with, but also the money and the generation of money that he's bringing in because of his popularity and his status. So you can understand why a guy like that should be paid $20+ million per year. Somebody like Carmelo Anthony, even though he doesn't deserve $20+ million, he more deserves somewhere between the range of 16 and 18, if you ask me. That's why I think what the Bulls are offering him is more to the level of what he gives you, because let's just be honest, Carmelo Anthony is a superstar scorer. He's not a superstar player. He doesn't play defense at a high level sense of urgency. So a guy like that deserves anywhere between 16 and 18, if you ask me. That should be what the league value should be for a guy like that. But you could understand why he might get overpaid. Even then it's a stretch, but you can understand it because Carmelo Anthony does have a big following. Carmelo Anthony is popular. Carmelo Anthony, he is the reason why a lot of people go to those Knicks games, because, you know, he has a name behind him. You can understand that. But Chris Bosh does not have the popularity those guys have. If anything, you know, I stay in Florida. I can tell you something. And being not so far away from Miami-Dade County, I can tell you guys that Chris Bosh was constantly criticized by this fan base down here, this bandwagon fan base. They didn't respect him. I don't even know why he signed a contract, even if it's $30+ million more. You know, I know everybody say all of the money talk. Money's not everything, man. A lot of times it's about being more comfortable, you know, and having the comfort in your life that's more important than the dollar signs. But the criticism that this man has gotten in Miami, and he still stayed with that team, he should have went to Houston. At least he would have been back home. It would have been the same situation, no state taxes. Yeah, it would have been 1 year less, but he wouldn't have had to deal with the aggravation of the pressure that's going to be coming to his butt now. Now he's the #1 option. You're going to see how fast these Heat fans turn on him, because I know how these Heat fans operate. LeBron James didn't want to continue to deal with that crap, because let's be honest, the way that they lost to the San Antonio Spurs, do you understand the immense pressure LeBron James was going to be on if he was with the Miami Heat for next year? He didn't want none of that. That's why he left. Because one thing you people got to understand, and this is the okie doke that you people fell for, and this is the okie doke that I have to remind you guys, is that LeBron, all he has to do is win one title in Cleveland, and he will be considered an immortalized basketball player. This is nonsense, man. This guy just needs to win a 3rd ring, and then you're going to see the talks. They're going to try to put him on the MJ and the Kobe levels. I mean, they've already done that blasphemy and put that guy on those guys' level. Now, next thing you know, they're going to put him on those guys' level. I mean, come on, man. It's basketball treason at the highest level. But like I said, you're dealing with a new generation now. They just don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're saying. This new generation is weird. This new generation is, I don't get this new generation of basketball, if you ask me. But it is what it is. But He Knows His Sport got 3 things to tell you guys before he rides out. Glad the San Antonio Spurs won the finals. Number 2, He Knows His Sport loves the parity that's going on in the NBA, because if you guys remember my last few videos, which was like a little over a month ago, you know, and more, I was talking about, I was at a point where I was getting ready to use the H word with basketball. Me using hate with basketball, I was at that point. If LeBron James would have stayed on Miami Heat, I probably would have hated the game of basketball, because I don't like the fact that competition is being killed. I don't like the fact that there's no, you know, no parity, man. You just got one super team that's holding the freaking league hostage. Can't stand that crap, man. I don't know how you guys feel, but if you feel the same way that I feel, comment, share. You know, it's highly encouraged. Let your boy know, because I can't be the only one out here feeling like this. And you know, and the third thing is, I think the NBA, if it can continue on this path, it will be just fine. I still don't trust some of the corruptive ways of the NBA, because I know all the nuances that come, you know, with the rigging aspect and all of that. But where it's at right now with this parity, I'm going to enjoy next season. I can't talk about the seasons after next season, but next season is going to be very enjoying to watch. And the reason why is because next season is going to be filled with joy of not knowing who's going to win. Because of what? Parity. If you are a true NBA fan, if you are a fan that lives according to wanting to see things, you know, operate in a true fashion, you would love it. This is He Knows His Sport, checking out.